In fiction, people like Captain America have been frozen in a block of ice, staying young and being revived. This isn't just in fiction though, for this woman survived by being frozen. And it allowed this teenager to live forever. Number 9. Michelle Funk. In 1986, 2.5-year-old Michelle Funk tragically drowned in an icy stream in Utah. After being submerged for over an hour, she was officially dead. However, the cold water had cooled her down to 66 degrees, just enough to prevent any serious brain damage. Incredibly, she woke up and was able to continue with her life. Michelle may not remember anything today, but the incident is something her doctors won't soon forget. The icy stream acted like a modern-day cooling device employed in hospitals to chill people whose hearts have stopped, preserving their brains until doctors can find a way to restart their hearts. Even though the medical industry has made great strides, the probability of being revived after death is incredibly low. Only approximately 24% of patients who experience a cardiac arrest while in hospital are able to survive. Number 8. Paulie Hynek. Paulie Hynek was discovered by his father one night having wandered outside of their Wisconsin residence. He was curled up in the snow, one hand tucked against his chest and the other extended, both as pale as frost. The panicked father scooped up his son and sprinted into the house, dialing 911. Fortunately, the paramedics arrived swiftly, and Paulie was able to make a full recovery. Number 7. Anna Bagenholm. On the evening of May 20th, 1999, Anna Bagenholm, an orthopedic surgeon in training, and her friends went skiing in the mountains outside of Narvik, Norway. As an experienced skier, she was familiar with the steep mountainside path she had taken numerous times before. Unfortunately, on her descent, she was unable to maintain control of her skis, slipping and falling headfirst onto an 8-inch sheet of ice. Underneath the ice was a solidified stream. When they pulled her out of the water, her pupils were wide open and there was no detectable heartbeat. Even though they knew she was no longer alive, her friends jumped into action and began performing CPR. A helicopter was soon dispatched to transport her to Tromsø University Hospital, which arrived at 9:10 p.m. Dr. Mads Gibbert, an anesthesiologist at the hospital, noticed that her pupils were fully dilated and her skin was a pale, waxy white. When he touched her, she felt and appeared to be dead without a doubt. Hypothermia is a frequent occurrence in Norway, and Gibbert was knowledgeable enough to provide the correct treatment for Anna. Despite being dead for almost 24 hours, she was connected to a heart-lung machine that circulated her blood to heat it up. Over the course of the next day, her body temperature gradually increased from 13.7 degrees Celsius until 24 hours after she had gone under the water, her heart started beating again and she was able to pump blood through her body independently. Number 6. Stella Berntsen. Stella Berntsen, a 7-year-old girl from Sweden, holds the distinction of having the lowest recorded body temperature of any living person. After being pulled out of the sea, she was lifeless, with no pulse or respiration. Her temperature was determined to be 13.2 degrees Celsius. When Stella was taken to the hospital, the doctors had a plan to slowly increase her body temperature to 32 degrees Celsius. The following day, her heart started beating again, indicating that she was alive. After 12 hours, she opened and closed her eyes. 2 weeks later, Stella managed to say her first word, as her mother fondly remembers. Stella had an amazing recovery journey while in the ICU. Number 5. Eva Wisniewska. Eva Wisniewska became the unfortunate victim of a powerful thunderstorm while preparing for the World Paragliding Championships in Australia. She was taken, still unconscious and encased in a coat of ice, to a whopping 32,000 feet up into the center of the storm. She remembers the glider continuing to climb higher, the darkness enveloping her and her body trembling with fear. Every instrument was wet and frigid, and she was convinced she was not going to make it out alive. She lost consciousness for about a half hour while her glider flew uncontrolled. Slowly, she navigated her way out of the fierce storm, and a glimmer of hope sparkled in her eye when she saw the earth. Miraculously, she had survived the ordeal with only some frostbite to her face and a few abrasions to her leg, inflicted by the pelting hail. The death of the Chinese competitor during the same storm was attributed to an apparent lack of oxygen and extreme cold, his body being found 47 miles from where he had taken off. Number 4. 14-year-old wins battle to be cryogenically frozen. In a groundbreaking ruling, a 14-year-old won her legal battle to be cryogenically frozen after her death following her battle with cancer. This ruling marks the first time a British child has been given the right to be cryogenically preserved. Cryonics is the process of freezing a body after death in the hopes of reviving and curing it in the future when a treatment for the underlying cause of death is discovered. The process involves replacing the blood in the body with a substance that prevents the body's organs and cells from freezing, and then cooling the body to below -120 degrees Celsius to ensure preservation without freezing. America is one of the few countries in the world that has the capability to store cryogenically frozen bodies. Consequently, when someone opts to be cryogenically frozen in the UK, they must either repatriate to either the US or Russia in order to be preserved. Today's photo features a spine-chilling image of a frozen woman. How the woman ended up in such a state is a mystery. Let's try to unravel it. Number 3. Jean Hilliard. On the bitterly cold night of December 20th, 1980, 19-year-old Jean Hilliard found herself in a desperate situation. Her car had careened off the road and into a ditch. She remembered a friend lived nearby, so she attempted to walk to the house for help, but she never made it. Miraculously, she was discovered in the morning in the front yard of her friend's house, frozen solid as a log. The night before, it was below 20 degrees and she was wearing cowboy boots. Later, people recounted to her that she had stumbled into her friend's yard, tripped and dragged herself to his doorstep on her hands and knees. Apparently, she had lain there for a full 6 hours, her eyes unblinking. Hilliard, however, has no recollection of those events. In the morning, when her friend woke up and went out of the house, he was shocked to see Jean's frozen body. He thought she was already dead, but despite that, he still took her to the hospital where she received medical care from doctors who were also stunned. The doctors at the Boston hospital had little confidence in Jean's condition. Despite numerous attempts, they were unable to insert an IV into her frozen arm, with the needles continually breaking. The doctors were convinced she was dead, but decided to try and warm her up with heating pads anyway. To their amazement, she soon began to stir, and by noon she was already speaking in a coherent manner. Number 2. Swiss couple. The mystery of Marcelin and Francine de Moulin, a Swiss couple who disappeared from their farm in the Alps on August 15, 1942, has been solved after 75 years. The couple, aged 40 and 37 respectively at the time of their disappearance, were found mummified in a glacier after leaving to milk their cows in a meadow near their home. Their 6 children had been left without answers until now, but the discovery of their parents' mummified remains has finally brought closure to the family. The worker found the frozen bodies of a man and a woman during a routine maintenance check in the receding Saint Florent Glacier, near several popular ski resorts at an altitude of 2,600 meters or 8,500 feet. At a distance, the bodies appeared to be small rocks. However, upon closer inspection, the worker noticed a peculiar collection of frozen accessories. Backpacks, watches, mess kits, a glass bottle and boots, all of which were estimated to be several decades old. Number 1. Inca Mummy. The mummy of La Doncella, or the Maiden, is a teenage girl who died more than 500 years ago in a ritual sacrifice in the Andes Mountains. She was found in 1999 along with 2 other children who had been left on a mountaintop as offerings to the gods, according to the archaeologist who discovered the mummified remains in Argentina. She was discovered wearing a ceremonial garment and adorned with a crown, symbols of her new role as a liaison between the human and divine worlds. She is considered to be one of the best preserved mummies ever discovered. See you all next time.